And now we're recording. You're on record. Be well behaved. And we're gonna kick off the slideshow. So cool. All right. How we doing? Good. I almost went to drink Ryan's coffee. It would have been weird. Okay. So at least our third go around, maybe four. I'm losing track. I'm just having so much fun. We are going to dive into some more playbook topics. And if you haven't done this yet, go online to the Red Store and check them out. You can get them in bundles. There's a volume 1, which is the OG playbooks. And there's a volume 2. I actually was what's up?
Our screen.
Oh yeah, I can
Right, the block up on the right.
right there. Dude, these PC things. So I was using both the Playbook 1 and Playbook 2, and one of the things that I'm sitting out there. One of the things that I realized was that there's slightly different content in each of them, and so what you have in front of you for handouts is actually some of Playbook 1 and some of Playbook 2, and we're gonna dive into web and we're going to go more technology this time, and we're going to actually do some work, and y'all are going to record a video today. Everybody else was let's go. So that's the move. So anybody who wanted to leave, now is your chance. If you're like, nope, I'm not into that, didn't get my makeup on, I'm not ready to go, my hair's not ready, my hair's totally ready. So let's do this. Danny is too. So for those of you that don't know, my name is Joe Cipollini. I am one of the I don't know, leader partners here at the office, and I spend my day to day sort of lurking in the background of Integrity First Home Buyers. I'm the chief learning officer at that organization, and then what that really means is 90% of the time I work at home with my dog snoring, and I coach. So I work with teams all over the country, salespeople, CEOs, sales leaders, on growing their businesses. Okay. So I'm excited because I get to come back to my roots a little bit when I come to KW and coach retail real estate, teach retail real estate. And let me tell you, some of the things that are in this are actually from my notes from Collective Genius, which is what's up, dude? So some of my notes are from Collective Genius, and I'm tying them into what's in the playbook. And the good news for you is you don't have to spend $30,000 a year to be a member of Collective Genius to get the notes. And the better news is that those notes match really well with what's already in the playbook, which you can get for $20. That's great news. So we're gonna do some deep diving into that. So my first question for you guys is, when I say when I say let's make money through our computer, what comes to your mind? Say that. Yeah, no, we're all friends here. No whispering. Social media. What else? Emails. What else? CRM. The CRM. What else?
Website.
Websites.
Marketing campaign.
What does that mean?
Attracting clients.
Ooh, okay. So it's a big topic that you just opened up right there. And we're not going to quite do that until a little bit later. But when you talk about a website that, like, who's bought anything online? You can buy a Tesla online with like a little one-click button, and you put your $100 deposit down and you're buying a car, right? So the scale of e-commerce has come a long way, right? What are you doing to be attractive online? And nobody's mentioned Zillow, Realtor, Homes.com, any of those things. We're going to talk about those. They're sort of like it's like the It's the annoying uncle that you have to invite to the holidays and just be like, okay, he's here, we gotta deal with it, right? Don't get too drunk, like, don't say anything political, no religion, right? Like, that's Zillow, Realtor, Homes.com, that kind of world, right? Because despite the fact that we might not love them as a player in our space, guess who does love them? The consumer. And that's who we answer to, right? So you'd be like, I'm not gonna use Zillow. Well, guess what? If your profile picture on Zillow is your 1987 headshot with 0 bio, it doesn't matter if you do an amazing, it does matter a little bit, but it doesn't matter if you're doing a great job in a lot of other places. If the consumer says, I want to look up Danny Mays, the realtor, and I want to see what he's up to. And Zillow pays probably more per hour in marketing spend than I'll make in my lifetime, right? It's just the amount of money and technology is absurd. And so Zillow pops up. They're like the second option. The consumer's like, oh, cool, Danny Mays, let me look it up, right? And Danny's picture is like, it's like, it says like no image available with like a little X through it. And they're like, ooh, is Danny legit?
He had hair.
Yeah, maybe it's like a really old picture, like, that's a
Dude,
guy
I
that
can't
came.
be coming to me today. I don't need it.
You're just like right here. It's super easy. So remember that trust is happening, trust development is happening before you walk in the door, thanks to the internet, right? Trust is being created or lost before you walk in the door through that. So as we talk about these things, one of the things that you're going to do here today is a quick audit. You're going to look yourself up and you're going to see how you look across all of your sites. Do your pictures match? Do you have bios? By the way, this is the same in command. You guys know that like there are 175,000 video images, and if you have a referral in Boise, Idaho, do you have any friends in Boise?
Yeah, actually.
Damn it. Yeah, of course. Do you have any friends in Boise?
No, of course not.
Perfect. Right? So I don't have any friends in Boise either, right? But if I have a referral and the average sales price in Boise, I happen to know is like in the just about $500,000. Okay, so it's like doesn't suck. And so I'm like, cool. I don't have any friends in Boise. I have two choices. I can do the exact same process my consumer is going to do and go on Google and blah 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 blah, or I can go into Command and ship that referral out, and I can go into Command and take a look. Who in here has updated their Command bio in the last 3 months?
Company, so
Yeah,
right?
no choice. And some of you were also new and didn't even know that that was the thing you had to do. So guess what we're gonna do today? We're gonna do that too. Okay? Because it's like you're selling, and one of the things that I have in my collective genius notes, and this guy, his name is Sam Prim. Anybody who wants to like watch somebody who's doing social media really well, write his name down. Sam Prim, P-R-I-M-M, mostly in the investment space. That dude made $110,000 on like Tuesday of last week from one post. That sounds amazing. Now, that didn't happen in one post. It happened in him consistently posting since 2022. And he has, I'm going to draw it because like I don't know if I could describe it really well. Anybody ever see Asana? You've seen Asana. Have you seen Asana? I'm pointing at you.
Me? Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Okay.
Has anybody else seen or heard of Asana? Asana is a workflow program. This is what, like this guy, right? Social media influencer. You're like, this guy's a clown, right? Like he's literally like walking around with his camera like this. And you're just like, oh, that's all made up. This dude had a matrix like this. Topic, hook, and then like 3 different versions. And what he would do, like this is insane level of intentionality. He would then say, okay, so this is like my first words, this is my music, and this is like just like the camera angle that I use. And then he would post, figure out which one returned the best, kill the ones that didn't, and then take that one and see if we make it go viral. Like that level of intentionality, that's what you can. Not telling you to go be like him. I mean, the dude is a little controversial. And I'll show you how he uses controversy to create hooks on his posts. But at the very least,
You know, it's a 2015, and it's getting a lot of hours on it. I gave it to her, but. Yeah,
muted with love. Okay. So
it's in your car.
how did that happen?
I'll handle
Is
it.
the cat sitting on the
keep
cat?
going. There you go.
What's happening? Okay, so like, again, over there, this level of intentionality. And so one of the things that we're gonna do today is, we're not necessarily gonna build a matrix out, but I'm gonna have you write down 5 topics that you would be willing to take a shot at making content with. And then you're gonna make a commitment to do it. Make you. Is that cool? Just a little bit of what we're gonna talk about today. I don't want these to be like real teachy, like book smart type of stuff. I want it to just be like, do things that we like to do, make a little bit of money, and everybody feels good about the class. Is that cool? Thank you. All right. The social media ladder. Okay, first page over here. So we're going to talk about the 3 online plays for today. These are not the only 3 online plays, but these are the 3 online plays for today. Sorry for the fact that it's a little small there. You can see it better here. Number 1 is social. Number 2 is Google and YouTube. And the third one is realtor sites or aggregates, aggregators of leads. So when we talk about Zillow, Realtor, Homes.com, why are they called an aggregator? Why are they called an aggregator? I don't know. Why are they called an aggregator? Zillow, Realtor, Homes.com, any of those sites, why are they called an aggregator?
I can take a guess.
I'll take it.
Because they're competing websites or they have their own promotions that they do.
You're headed in the right direction. Why are they called an aggregator?
Because they can control the market with their content.
Okay. So good to know. They're literally called aggregators on the last page. If you flip this whole thing over, it's there. That's what they're called. And aggregator means that they aggregate 2 things. Aggregate means to mix or blend. So they bring consumers in, they control the customer journey, and they then disseminate that information or they monetize it out to us as realtors. So they are a mix, they are a blender between the consumer journey and us. One thing that Gary Keller says is they have they are disintermediaries, meaning they have come in to what used to be a very seamless realtor process that we were a little bit in control of, right? Take or leave it, and the Department of Justice didn't always love that. And they came in and they said, cool, the customer's journey is like, I want to buy a house. So I start to talk about it at the kitchen table. And then I decide whether I want to get a realtor or I want to look for houses. But because we all have the attention span of a fruit fly now, what we really do is we go online and scroll at midnight and like doom scroll houses. That's what consumers actually do. And Realtor and Zillow figured that out and they put themselves right at that moment. And they became disintermediaries for our process. And then they captured that and monetize it both to us because we pay to be members and also into the housing market. Make sense now? So again, the annoying uncle at the holiday, it is what it is. We have to deal with it now. Okay. So number 2 will be Google, YouTube. Number 3 will be the realtor sites and aggregators. So first things first. Dang it. I'm going to make it bigger. I'll do my best. Okay. The keys to a good online presence. So what you'll find is that customers care about, why this TV's not on. I don't know what to do around this place. I will say it enough that you can follow it. But the first thing you should do is draw 3 concentric circles the way that I did. I think that's called a Venn diagram, if I can remember correctly. So customers care about 3 things, and your marketing needs to convey this to them. And when I say marketing, it's what we're talking about with like, when I say like, how are you using the internet to create revenue? Okay, and these three things need to exist. Number one, right, and this is across multiple strategies and it requires consistency and authenticity. Number one is credibility. Number one is credibility. Who can give me a, because you can't read it, which is great. Who can tell me what the definition of credibility is?
You know what you're teaching.
Do you know what you're doing?
You're an expert.
That's it. So, so people care about, do you know what you're doing? Number two is they want to know that you care. Great rule of thumb. If you've never heard this before, it's from John Maxwell. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So credibility is how much you know, but that's subservient to how much you care. So literally, they want to know you care. Number three is familiarity. And familiarity is super interesting because familiarity isn't really credibility or comfort. It's like they feel like they've gotten to know you, even though they don't know you. And the way that it's written here is customers need to know you well. And like I said before, that's starting on the online journey now. Now, so this is one of my collective genius notes. This is from a company, by the way, from California. They were doing a presentation on their marketing. Their marketing budget is $1.5 million a month. Their TV budget's like $650,000. Their PPC budget for like online Google ads is like another like $400,000 a month. They have a big sample size and they know what they're doing. They make an absurd amount of money at that company. And they built this model. So these are from my notes from their model. So again, now let's break this down. So if you are in that space at the top where it's between credibility and care, it means they believe that you know what you're doing and they believe that you care, but they don't know you well enough and they might go find somebody that they feel more comfortable with. On the left-hand side, you're credible and familiar, meaning you know what you're doing and they feel like they know you, but the customers might feel like you aren't actually trying to help them. And on the right-hand side, you're familiar and you show that you care. I like to call this the care bear. But customers might love you, but not feel like you can solve their problems. Let me ask you, have you ever known somebody who's in a service industry and you like them a lot and didn't go to them? Why? Because they're not good at their job. So that's the care bear. Like, I love you. I don't trust you with my money. Right? I don't trust you with my housing for my family, but I'll have a drink with you. And so the blend for your online presence, and the reason I'm doing this first, the reason I jammed this in, these notes in before we went to the model, before we went to the playbook stuff, is because first of all, it's not in the playbook. Second of all, is I think if you apply this model to everything in here and you think, what am I doing to make sure that I show that I know what I'm doing, I'm credible, that I show that I give a shit and I care, and to show that I am putting myself authentically out there. I think the thing with familiarity is familiarity requires authenticity and transparency, right? And it's funny, Eric Brewer wasn't making this presentation. Eric is a really interesting example. Eric has a mixed vibe in the real estate market. Eric Brewer over at Integrity First. There's a mixed response to him. So there's like some love, some not love, and then everything in the middle. And at the end of the day, Eric did 60 referrals into the company last year. People literally just drop into his inbox and sent him things. And if you're like, well, how does somebody that's like doesn't have like a unanimous vote of love, meaning like I'm not sure where that lands here, but I'm not sure he's nailing all three all the time. But he's winning in familiarity a lot because he is always posting and he's showing his kids, he's showing that he is a real human being. And I think that if even with a bunch of haters or negative, and I'm not saying a lot, but like even with some, right? And we're all like anybody fear that if you put yourself out there that somebody might not like it or might not like your outfit or might not like what you say, like Eric doesn't give a shit about any of that. 60 referrals. Literally, I've seen his inbox. It's just like, hey, I have a house for you here. Anybody want that kind of inbox? It's okay if you don't. You'll just have to work hard to go find these other places. Okay, I would not mind that, right? So, so just to put that out there, I think it's an interesting example. If you know or don't know who he is. Okay, so let's do some social media best practices. So the social media ladder is the first page that I put in here. Okay, and this is from Ken Pozak, who left KW. Remember that? Where'd he go? Ken Pozak. He's the guy in Orlando. He speaks on the main stage. You don't go to those anyway. So Ken left, came back, stud. Follow him on YouTube, by the way. Look him up. So he has a YouTube channel called The Orlando Reel, and he posts a lot of content there. And if you're looking for somebody to model yourself after, that would be one. But Ken's social media ladder is super interesting because what he talks about is launching social media to create opportunity, right? And so I have, so it's 2 pages. Step number 1 is literally launch phase. So creating a brand, creating a content calendar, right? Like this is a matrix that could become a content calendar. So then creating and posting videos. So posting from your Android or iPhone, and I'm going to give you some best practices for that. And then following up with the leads. Literally just get into motion. Step 2 is to grow. And in this phase, you add more assets, you generate leads every week. And so he's talking about like having an e-newsletter, using Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts. So he lays out what the map is going to be. And we all have these papers, and I don't need to read that to you. But that's what he's talking about. Step 3 is maximizing, which is really scaling. And so for Ken, that was like once you get this on the back of page 1, once you get momentum and you get into motion, it is like now you need to scale. Now you need to grow. You need to grow your team because you've got more leads than you can handle. You add additional content and then you grow your staff. And then he has the map there in the red box, which is launch, grow, and maximize. And that's using social media or using the internet for growth. It's just a formula there. Okay. From there, the next 3 pages, although we'll fix the one thing. So from there, it goes over to the dominate mind share in under 3 seconds. And we're going to talk about under 3 seconds. So let's do some social media best practices. Oh, I zoomed in too much. So creating a compelling post. So number 1, the most important part, sorry, I know you guys are trying to see it over there. You can also look back there. The most important part of your content is the hook. Who here has heard of the word or heard of somebody saying it's the algorithm? Mm-hmm. Okay. What I have learned is that the algorithm is just telling you whether you suck or not. And the first 3 seconds or the first impression of your content is dictating your effectiveness. And Sam Prim, who was one of the presenters that I was able to see, was talking, and the statistic is the third bullet point here, is that if you get somebody to engage for 3 seconds, 45% of them will stay for 30 seconds. So what does that mean? Right. So if your first 3 seconds are, hey, this is Adrian with Keller Williams. I'm so excited to introduce you to 123 Main Street. My 3 seconds got spent in a pretty poor way, right? And I'm actually going to give you some really, really practical and effective ways to create hooks, but let's come to the playbook. So, who can read the blurb at the top of Dominate Mindshare under 3 seconds? You can. Go ahead. Dominate Mindshare under 3 seconds. Go.
Lindsay, that part?
Yep.
Lindsay has currently posted over 500 short videos on social media. His weekly videos are called Tuesday Morning Market Update, where he provides a short update on activity in his area. In one way or another, he's entitled orders one of his clients back to his videos. The process can be simplified in a few easy steps.
Great. What is step number 1?
Lindsay chose 3 metrics that he updates weekly. By choosing the same 3 metrics each week, he is providing consistency and week-over-week comparisons so consumers can understand the trend.
Great. So what he does underneath there, he focuses on 3 specific communities: new listings, pendings, and sold. Literally giving information. So he decided, what's my content? Step number 2. Is it Denise? Debbie? Got it. Who's a D? What's number 2?
Choose the location. Each week, Lindsay chooses a local business or charity to film his video ads. Filming in different areas allows him to highlight the businesses or brings awareness to the charities.
Perfect. Step number 3, D-Mace.
Lindsay records the videos on Mondays and posts them on Tuesdays and Tuesday mornings. Videos should ideally be 2 to 2.5 minutes, but no longer than 3 minutes. The key is to be authentic, and you know that they will get better over time.
And then step number 4, anybody over here?
Post a video. Posting the videos across multiple platforms ensures maximum exposure. Lindsay posts on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. He also uses the videos as a touch for his database and blasts them out using a platform called BombBomb. He believes his videos are an incredible tool to connect.
Perfect. Okay. So we have a little bit of mixed messages. Lindsay's posting 2.5 to 3 minutes. I just told you nobody cares about minute number 2 if they can't get past second number 3. Second number 3 better be damn good. Nobody cares about your data at minute number 2 because they didn't get there, right? And Sam, who gave the social media presentation I was able to see, basically said that now, and this data, Lindsay's been doing this for a while, but essentially like now that like TikTok's gotten bigger and you have reels, you have stories, everything's gotten shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter. So 3 minutes might be too long. I actually think 3 minutes for a market update is pretty reasonable if it starts to be a consistent piece of deliverable content. But if you're looking to attract new leads, you probably need a 35 or 45 second piece of thing that's like you are not going to believe how many houses hit the market this week. Hook, and I'll show you what examples of hooks are. So that hook, and then like a little bit of a thing, and then that might actually be your reel or story that's out there getting a little bit more and more and more traction. That might drive to longer form content that could be the 3.5 minute market update that you're delivering in a different way. Does that make sense? You guys follow it? Like they don't have to be the same. And you might find that generating new leads with a 3 minute video might not work. And it may end up, but the 3 minute video might be great for your database. Now, who's doing any of what I just said? So cool. You are doing something. Good. What are you doing? Reels. Excellent. Anybody else? So we have only up from here at that, right? That's about what I expected. So we can only get better from what we just said. So I'm going to give you some tips for your first 3 seconds. These are super valuable. So number 1, and so like, again, so Sam, who I told you, like built this huge, Sam built this matrix. That dude's posting 4 times a day since 2022. He has more data on what works and what doesn't work than anybody in this room does. So we're going to take what Sam shared at Collective Genius, and we're going to say there's probably value to that. So number 1 was he was all about the hooks, and he gave a recipe for these. So there's 3 things to shoot for with hooks. Number 1 is a crazy statistic or fact. So Great example of that that's out there right now. 74% of realtors didn't sell a home last year. That's a statistic or fact. It sucks, but it is a statistic or fact. When was the last time interest rates were what they are today? Guys, this is your job, by the way. Yeah. Yeah. And we dipped in 2024, Q3, Q4, we're back up. So it's been about a year since we're at this like 7-ish level that we're at right now. But prior to this season, it's been a long time since we saw rates in this, right? Well, you should know, first of all, know that number. And second of all, like go look it up. And then that is great. So a crazy statistic or fact, something that's like pops, right? Number two, something controversial. So Sam, and I didn't include this screenshot, Sam showed the room a post that he made that had like, I want to say 15 million views and like 75,000 shares. And it was Michael Jordan was not the best basketball player. Bold statement. I would say that's very controversial. So I gave you guys a different example, and I think Date the Rate is trash. Is that a little controversial? Adrian's like, ooh, right? Now I'd have to then figure out 30 seconds that are a compelling story of why I feel that way. And it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm gonna like die on this hill of like, you know, marry the house, date the rate, but I would say that would be a compelling hook, right? And number three is cliffhangers. So who's making video tours of properties? Okay, good, because they're not that great. But nobody wants to see sweeping, and tell Edwin this. Nobody wants to see sweeping, slow pan views of a living room and like looking at grandma's stuff. Like, check out the spaceship. Like, it's okay. Like, if it's like up, if it's like $1 million listing York, maybe, right? But what then, by the way, if it's $1 million listing York, which of these three is it actually? Cliffhanger, controversial, or crazy stat or fact? It's crazy, right? So it's not about the content of the house or the listing. If it's not one of those three, it probably nobody cares. Nobody cares. I'm in the industry and you couldn't pay me to like scroll through property walkthroughs. And your clients probably feel the same way. So a cliffhanger might be a different take on that, which is you standing in, like, just example, right? Standing in front of a house and being like, listen, I'm not going to take you on a full tour, but you are not going to believe the bathroom in this house. That's a cliffhanger. And if I watch 3 seconds of that and I'm like, I don't really want a tour, but I'm interested. And you might get me to 35 seconds with that. Make sense? So crazy stat or fact, controversy, or cliffhangers. Yes.
So, say we're using a controversial hook, how would we mix that with our job? I feel like saying something about Michael Jordan would be relevant to like mixing.
Yeah.
a video about it.
Great question. So Sam, the guy whose presentation I watched, and if you watch him on social, you'll get a feel. That dude's like 94% business type posts, right? But it helped him with the algorithm to have something that went exponentially viral because then he got a lot more eyeballs on. And then when it came back down to the other business posts, he's getting more eyeballs on those other posts. So viral creates more viral. So for him, that was sort of the play. The reason I didn't make the controversial example, but the controversial example I have on the screen is Date the Rate is trash. That's the one I made. Okay. I'm like lukewarm on Michael Jordan is not, first of all, I'm not sure I believe that, right? I'm not sure I would like put that video out there. He showed us his inbox just full of hateful emails, but he was like, I didn't care because I had 10 million eyeballs on that post. And then my next post now is getting in front of 1 million people. And if that means that there's another 200,000 people more that actually care about my business post, the game was worth it. I was like, okay, right? Plus, his example, so he's doing multifamily education. So like multifamily buildings and stuff like that. He owns like $70 million worth of multifamily buildings and does education for how to do multifamily investing. And so for him, he's trying to get eyeballs on it of people who might have money and NBA fans, right? There's some people in the NBA that are NBA fans that might have some money. So there's a play there. The guy's not dumb. Make sense? But for you to just like go on and like make a post about it's like, like that may not be the play today for you. Make sense? Cool. All right. So right now, you are going to write 5 topics and 1 hook for one of your topics that you would be willing to post or make a post about. And again, I'm going to take you back to this screen. We want to focus on how do we create a relationship with our customers online that creates credibility, care, and familiarity. So 5 topics using those examples of hooks, of crazy stat, controversy, or cliffhangers.
Yeah, because then he's like, you guys are making 70,000.
Jacob Chichering. What's that?
Like the pens there.
Well, Ovi's like 47 years old.
Like 60.
I know.
You should be the one that breaks that record though.
He's gonna.
I know he is.
He's done.
He's big.
Dude, he's. I was at a Caps game this year and like seeing
He's incredible.
incredible.
Yes.
His shot, like I was sitting behind the goal and like I've been doing the hockey games now, like I know not to duck when the shots come. His shot was so hard and hit the glass like so I was like, oh my god. I was like, oh, I know better than that. But like, yeah. He's a whole nother level. So Sam posted a story this morning. Let's see what it is while you guys are thinking. So just text. Reply 75-minute private workshop on how to buy real estate without using any of your own money in the next 90 days. Reply 90 and I'll send it your way. It's free. He didn't even have no audio on that at all. But if I go to his page and pull his reels, one of his 4 bajillion reels, so here's a great example. And he actually talked about this type of model. And I'm going to give you a couple of these takeaways, but just bear with me. I know it's like on a tiny screen. So we owe banks $146,000 every month in mortgage payments. Controversy. Because we are in $30 million in debt. More controversy. You're like, what? And here is how that debt creates massive wealth. That debt allows me to own $51 million worth of real estate, which brings in over $350,000 in rent every single month. I have over 21 million in equity because of my 30 million in debt. So he's telling a story only through text. The guy's not even talking. 263 likes on that thing. Probably not a viral one, but he's posting that type of content enough that the algorithm will catch it. And can anybody sit still and like film themselves drinking Starbucks and right? Like, can you do that? I can do that. Okay. Don't ask me for too much more than that. So just an example. So that's what, when I tell you to go watch Sam, there's some things that you'll see. It's like, man, this is really not as like overwhelming as I think it needs to be. And
Give me an example of.
yeah, so the one that I have on screen is you will not believe what the bathroom looks like in this house. Yep. So something that's like, oh, I want to know more. All right, so give me a couple of examples of what you wrote down. D Mace.
Work with a lot of attorneys. So even like a divorce percentage, getting into some sort of wild stat, it's gonna strike some interest.
Yeah.
Might even hit a chord,
Ooh.
you know.
Yep. Like a statistic about divorce, like you wouldn't believe, or it could be, you could do cliffhanger or stat, like how much wealth transfers as a result of divorces. Ooh. There's actually a page in the book, just free ad. There's a page in the playbook where that's called where divorce meets real estate. Who else? How about you? Did you do?
One of my topics was, kind of basically like, staging versus not staging your home and how it would increase the value, and the hook, I think, I don't know if I'm on the right path. Do people live like their listing photos show?
That's awesome. That's great, right? Oh no, you're actually gonna do it. You're gonna do it in about 3 minutes. Let's do one more.
Carly.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. That's really good. Like you're talking like government policies? Yeah. You think people get worked up about that? Right? That's the cortisol addiction they want you to get to. All right. So I have a couple of, so now that we did that, you guys wrote some content down. Here's 3 or 4 quick tips. And you actually saw some of these in motion on Sam's video. And then we are going to stop, take a break, and you're going to spread across the building and go shoot a 1-minute video or less. I'm like, not going to think about it. No excuses. Nicole was like, I'm never going to do it. Now you are. And no thinking, no stalling, because that's the thing. You have to get into motion if you want to do something different. And if I let you leave this class, I'm like, guys, go do it at homework, you're not going to do it. So we're literally going to take that break. Here's 4 things that you can write down as quick tips. Number 1, the 3-second rule. If you watch TV, which you're weird if you don't, if you watch TV or have ever watched TV, you have seen the 3-second rule in motion. And it is that weird fruit fly and TV commercials change camera angle at the very most at 3 seconds and more than likely somewhere in the 90-second range, meaning angle. And you just saw it on Sam. That's that one video where he was like sitting there like this and standing like this and sitting with his like that is a great example that you just saw. So the 3-second rule is, and when you go and make your 1-minute videos, you're not going to do this. I'm not going to have to break it up. But if you went and did some edited videos, is to break it into segments where you're sitting in different positions and like telling a story. And if you watch Sam, he has some examples where he'll be like, he'll say something like the hook, and then he'll pick up after the hook standing somewhere else, and then he'll splice those together. Okay, so the 3-second rule is change the angle or the positioning every 3 seconds, give or take. You had it.
Would like walking be considered a change of angle?
So if it's just you walking straight,
Like
maybe.
somebody recording you walking.
Maybe.
Okay.
So Sam had a ton of research. He paid a professional videography company to like work with him and follow him around and do like pretty edits for like a year. The performance was worse than on the stuff he was making on his own. So this might just do it for you. Yeah. So, but good question. And I don't know, try it, right? Maybe you can do this some. I don't want you to overthink it that you don't do anything.
Okay.
Right? So I'm just doing it, right? So number 1 is the 3-second rule. Give that a shot. Number 2 is no more B-roll or long panning shots. You lose the consumer, you lose the viewer, you lose me, you lose everybody when it sucks and it's not interesting. And that's really what the algorithm's telling you, by the way. If nobody in this room has gone viral, it's because you haven't done something viral worthy.
What does B-roll mean?
B-roll is like when you're like talking over, like it's like a panning shot and they're like, and it's like, take a look at this luxurious, like blah, 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 blah. And it's like the B-roll is where it's not, there's no human, it's just like landscape. Nicole's mad at me. It's coming in 3 minutes. Number 3 is no technical jargon. So a cool and interesting thing to do here is to connect these technical things that we know with the human. And that goes into number 4, which is keep it simple. And simple sells. And when we are, so right, simplicity sells, simple solutions sell. And when you think about that, what you're asking the customer to do when they stay engaged on a post is to sell you their time. They're investing their time. And if you don't believe that people are willing to go, then have you ever been on TikTok and done exactly that? And TikTok's at like 15 seconds is about it, right? So we're going to break up. You have 10 minutes until the end of the class. When you get back, I have one more gift. You have the rest of this sheet. And just in case things get hectic here at the end at 11 o'clock, I have Google Ads in there. It's another angle to be able to generate things. And we talked about going onto your pages and looking. That's actually what we're going to do when we get back, if we have time. So your Google page, like, do you have a Google business page? Do you get Google reviews? And then checking your Zillow, your Realtor, etc. And then on the very back is like a YouTube thing. So Google owns YouTube, so that's why it's YouTube, right? Because they want you. So if you make some good YouTube content and have a YouTube channel and it's relevant to your name, then when people search you on Google, your YouTube videos pop up, and it's a very sneaky way to increase your search engine optimization. That might have been worth the price of admission just there. So doing some content, taking some of your social content that you're uploading to Instagram or whatever, and also feeding that over to YouTube, because that, like, again, Instagram and YouTube, Facebook, none of them want to play nice with each other when it comes to searching. They want to control their advertising dollars in their own platform. So if you have good content or even modest content that you're uploading to socials like Instagram, also posting that into a YouTube short will cheat the system to get you better Google results. Yes.
I heard you talk about reviews. Could we go over some way we can set up how to get reviews? Because I had multiple people that want to give me reviews, but I just don't know.
Sure, we'll talk about that when we get back. And if we run out of time, we'll be okay. You literally only need 5 minutes to go do this homework because your video better not extend past 1 minute. And the rule is no more than the third take. So if your first take sucks, all the pressure on you for the second take, and there's no more past the third. You gotta come back in with what you got, okay? So I'll see you in 5 minutes. I'm setting a timer and I'm gonna hunt you down. All right, timer started. Scoot, scoot. They left the room to you.
Oh, gosh.
That was very kind of them.
No, I'm coming back.
I know,
I
they're-
got the drinks here, so. How are you, Debbie?
I'm good.
Are you anxious about this?
This is what she was anxious about in the first time, but then she got a.
Then you went and did it and got a listing.
Like, I don't even like the spotlight, none of that.
I didn't ask whether you were good. Do people already know do people already know what you look like?
And it was even an issue for me to put like pictures on me online.
Really?
Cause like, I like my privacy.
I'm the same.
So, I did it cause I had to.
So I think you have to find a way that's authentic for you. I'm the same. I'm generally a pretty private person. I post most of my stuff in my stories because it's the most controlled place. And it goes away in a day anyway if I hate it.
Like, you guys do a video like the household and I'm like, yeah. Okay, let me do it.
And then you didn't do it, right?
Or graphic of some sort.
Yeah.
I always refer everyone to like follow Kate Brocious.
Yeah, she's doing a great job with it.
Evans really picked it up big time now. And it's tasteful stuff. It's not like in your face. Real estate, but there might be a personal thing with real estate tied in. You gotta mix it up. You gotta make yourself look like a real person. And you don't always have to be front and center, but you tell a story from the photograph that you're taking. And that gets like those 3 things that he said, get them to engage. Maybe it's a kitchen, an amazing kitchen you saw at a property, or a unique view, or sunset, so you're tying in what you're doing as a real estate business, but with a personal touch. It's
Well,
not always like, come see this house, it's awesome.
If you think, yeah, if you think about the 3 circles, Kate crushes that.
Absolutely, and
Because
she doesn't realize that she does it that well, and it's very natural to her, but I think anybody that would look at it would engage with her first because they cheer for her.
I guess I need to see like some
Well, the more-
videos.
And the more you do
Get
it, the
some
more,
more
the
examples.
more comfortable you get with it. I mean, like, I remember my ex-husband was real big in videos.
Social
and
media
he,
content
um,
creators over here, little they don't know.
he did it.
It makes good
You know,
communities.
but he posted a little bit, and then you just get used to it, you know? But it is definitely uncomfortable, but, you know, otherwise you can't, you know, I mean, like, you never do anything different if you
Yeah.
stay in your comfort zone, you know?
That's true. Yeah, I'm gonna have to like.
We have 2 minutes left. You guys make your videos yet? You done?
Want to see it?
Yeah, we'll see it. Well, let's take it for a test drive.
It's gonna set the tone for your entire day, so why wouldn't you wanna know it? If you wanna know how to work your brains, you need to get in touch with me. I'll show you 6 things you can do to set the tone for your entire day. Energy. And you're gonna feel in control. Thank you.
That's freaking awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Miracle Morning right there. Savers. Savers. Great book. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Like, see videos.
So I need you to like promise. So did you follow Sam Prem?
No, I just got
I'll help you with it.
information. and I'll check
The
out.
guy that I named.
I wrote it down.
Sam Prem, or just even follow Kate Brocious or people locally. The only reason I listen, I've literally talked to Sam one time. He was on stage, but then I talked to him off stage. I just know that he's got a good model he's running.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So it's worth checking it out.
It's the repetition that gets me. Like I just don't do it frequently enough. At all.
Yeah,
I need to.
the consistency is a
need
big
to
deal.
Time block
Yeah.
something into every day to remember to do it is what I need.
Yep. $15. You done? Done?
Yep.
All right. Adrian crushed it.
What about that?
Yeah.
Really?
All your posts are great, but imagine if you were saying it instead of post. Say it. You'll get way more engagement. I'm not gonna man up, like I made you get up and go do it.
I just really walked around.
I say the same thing, you're like, no. And he says it, you're like, fine, I'll do it.
I just walked around, I still didn't do it. But I'm not an agent, okay? I'm here for support.
Great.
I just like rushed through it. And like, what everybody else is supposed to do.
How do you spell his last name?
PRIMM. It's like, he does like, it's like freedom investor.
Video, like, and relatability makes people, like, social media is a huge thing, like. Yeah. And then you like, you feel like you get to know those people, like, right, just through, like, I love Facebook because it's people that I have like gone to school with and like, but I don't talk to every day, but I still know their lives because of that, like, that's the point, you know?
Good.
Picture my first one.
Good. Oh.
Yes.
You're like, oh, I nailed it. It's like, oh, huge.
She did, she totally did.
Oh, I hate that for you. All right, Adrian, let's play Adrian's real quick for the room. Don't worry about the video, just play it, like, hold it up and just listen to Adrian.
Cool. No, I'm getting off right now. No. Yeah. Set the tone for your entire day. So why wouldn't
Love it. Who else to show theirs? It was great, right?
Good.
And he's talking about Miracle Morning, which is a book that we're reading, so.
Can I just say what mine was about?
No? How do I know what your hook was?
I
Like,
messed it up because I took a picture of her instead of.
I swear-
But she redid it, it just wasn't as good as the
It
first
wasn't
one.
as
here's the, I have bad news for you. We already know what you look like and what you sound like, and we've heard your voice, like saying words, so we know kind of how your brain to mouth ratio works. Like, we're here. We're ready.
So we were only one take
That's fine.
because it took.
We all are living in one take anyway. I love it for you.
Man, it's only a few people.
I know, right, okay. If you're born after the year 2000, I'm talking to you. Are you thinking about purchasing a home and getting advice from your parents and grandparents? Is their information even relevant to the market going on now? If you're thinking about purchasing a home, you need to be speaking to a realtor. Please give me a call if you have any questions about the home buying process.
Love it. So one thing that I think you'll figure out, great job. It's about the exercise of doing it. It doesn't, like, if you post it, don't post it, it doesn't hurt my feelings. It's about the exercise. One of the things I think you'll find is as you get into a rhythm, is that it doesn't have to necessarily be a commercial. You're putting a lot of pressure on it, like, I need to sell by the end of this. And what you'll find is it's really just about maintaining relationship or establishing connectivity with your people. So it's like you might just you might have that hook and just so you're you were sort of saying, you were sort of speaking to an audience and specifically trying to sell that audience and like reaching out to you. You might just be you might actually change that so that it's more of just content delivery and not pitching, right? Or you just post it. Right? I don't want to talk you out of posting it or posting something, right? But if you're just like, I can't believe how many people who have been born after the year 2000 are buying houses right now and getting advice from people who were born in the 1900s. Right? That's hilarious. Yeah. But right, like that's kind of that, like, you see how like you can have fun with that and just be like I'm seeing people out there and they're getting advice from people who walked uphill both ways to school. Interest rates were in the 16% in 1980, and that's just not how real estate's done anymore. If you are even considering buying or selling right now, like, you need to be sitting down with a professional. Do yourself a favor, make sure you're connecting with somebody who knows what's going on in today's market. If that's me, awesome, shoot me a DM. I'd love to sit down with you. Done. Post it out to the world. Right?
People listen to people that bought houses like 20 years ago.
Yeah. That's right. That's right. Is that it's like not as scary, good content, good idea, right? I would take the pressure off of trying to sell people by the end of it. I think that's the one thing I would give you guys the advice. Yours is like okay because yours is like a personal development type of thing. But even still, like if you're just like hey, it may not be for you, but if you're even interested in changing your morning routine or feel like you're dragging ass at 2 o'clock or can't live without 7 cups of coffee, like shoot me a DM. I'll hook you up with this thing that I'm doing right now that's changing my life. Right. So it's like less like salesy and just a little bit more of a give or content. It goes back to the 3 circles, right? Just like, we just want to be there. We want to show that we're credible, care, and that we're just developing familiarity by being in front of them. Is this a cool exercise? Y'all better post some stuff. Let me give you the last final piece. So the aggregators and your general web presence, there's a few steps here, but step number 1 is to make sure that your information is up to date across all platforms. I made a note here that we were going to look at it ourselves here, but we got started 4 minutes late and I talked too much, so we didn't get a ton of time to do that. But like, just as we're wrapping up today, just pull your laptop open and look, like literally look. And I'm going to speak to your review question, right? So I don't really care where you get reviews, but I would keep it, there's two ways of thinking about that when it comes to reviews. Number 1 is get reviews on multiple platforms, all right? And what's up, man? So getting reviews on multiple platforms. But the downside of that is it waters down your impact on any one platform. The other angle is just go really deep on one. Now, the top 3 are probably going to be Zillow. You can send, if you do a deal and claim the transaction in your Zillow profile, you can send it out, get Zillow reviews. So that's number 1. Number 2 is Google. Got to have a Google page to do that. So make sure you have a Google business page. Use this address as your address. Warning you now, Google makes that process super annoying, but it is what it is. Or number 3 would be Facebook and getting Facebook reviews. I don't care. I don't have a favorite, but I'm just giving you some angles. And then you're asking, how do you do it? Like, so if you're with friends, be like, hey, give me your phone real quick. Hey, give me your phone. Let's pull up my Facebook. Go to your, like, literally do it with that. Go, hey, can you do me a favor? Can you write me a cool review? Right. Do it in the moment. So reviews are best done in the moment. And you could probably do a whole class on reviews, but like do it in the moment when you've delivered something good for the person that you're asking for a review from. So if you're at the closing table right now, or set it up. Hey, I'm going to send you a message when I get back to the office asking for a review. Can you please do it? If you do that, you're going to have fall off because people will go home, they'll get busy, and you're going to miss some. If you're like sitting at the table and they're a hostage, be like, right now, write me a quick review. And they might just be like, it's like, I'm not really good with words. I need some time. Like, okay, cool. But I'm going to call you on Thursday if you haven't done it yet. Right. So just make it very intentional either way. But that goes back to making sure, this goes back to making sure that your profiles and presence is good and updated across all things. So I told you where to go. I told you to go to Google. I told you to go to Facebook, go to your Instagram, make sure that your KW command bio, all of those, as we're wrapping up here, and you're going to go off and do other things that are probably busy but not productive. Take a minute, open your laptop, look through your profiles, and just make sure that you don't have a 7-year-old picture and an outdated bio, or worse, no bio, please. Promises?
Promises.
Thank you. All right. So when you get aggregator leads, these are the 5 things, and this is actually from the aggregator page, which is back here. Okay. So I don't need to read that to you, but it's be fast. Get a 2-way contact as fast as possible. So when those people are searching online, remember, we are fruit flies. So they're just buzzing around, looking at houses, clicking on buttons. They don't have any idea what they're doing. And so if they click that they like a property and somehow that ends up in your inbox, guess what they're also doing? Clicking on other properties, ending up in other people's inboxes. And if you're like, well, I'll call them later because I'm really enjoying my coffee and like whatever, they're definitely going to be moved on because they're fruit flies, right? So be quick, and also be quick to get 2-way conversation, because it's not just who makes contact, it's who shows value first. Sell the sizzle is not exactly what this says. Step 3 says get to the fun fast. But I'm going to rephrase that because I think that sounds stupid. Sell the sizzle. The sizzle is what they want. What do they want? If they're on Zillow, what do they want? A house. If you call them and say, hey, got your Zillow inquiry, can't wait to sit down with you and do a 1-hour consult. Did you sell any sizzle?
No.
Okay. So remember that, because what you want and what the customer wants need to be in alignment. And when you call them and try to sell them on what you want and don't offer what they want, you have not sold the sizzle, you messed up. So the sizzle is the house. Danny, you inquired about 123 Main Street. I cannot wait to talk to, sorry, these people online are like, what happened? I can't wait to talk to you about 123 Main Street. I would love to get you more information about 123 Main Street. Before I do that, or before we get out there and see that property, which I know you really want to see, before we do that, I should gather a little bit of information, because the worst thing that could happen is that I show you 123 Main Street and you love it. Because if that happens and we haven't done our job before then, you might fall in love with a house that you can't buy, and that would be tragic. Would you have a mortgage conversation if I just sold you the sizzle and then took it away from you?
Yeah.
100%, right? Make sense? Y'all doing that? Yes, please do that. Okay. Sell the sizzle. Set a consult, right? So don't, just because they came in on the house doesn't mean you give them the house without anything else. I think that's being a good fiduciary real estate agent. And then the last thing is follow up, because these people are online and you don't know where they are in the buying process. And if you are either ahead of or behind them on their buying process, you're going to have a mismatch. What I mean by that is, if the customer is doom scrolling at midnight, are they necessarily ready to buy tomorrow? No. But might they be thinking at least of a change of a house. And there, I literally was doom scrolling Jeeps last night. Do you think that in somewhere in my brain, I'm thinking I'm gonna get a different car? Right? And so you need to be where the customer is in their journey. So if they're in, it's called voyeur stage, meaning they're looking, but not necessarily committed to the process. That's voyeur stage. If they're in that stage and you're like, hey, let's set an appointment for tomorrow. They're like, feels a little too much commitment, right? So then you just need to stay in follow-up mode. Just, hey, just want to check in with you. Have you seen anything online that was interesting? Right? Had a great conversation the first time. I don't want to put any pressure on you. I'd love to be here when it's the right time, right? Because they're going to move at some point from voyeur to commitment. And if they move to voyeur to commitment to another agent on Zillow, because that's what they're doing, because they're a fruit fly, right? They're going to be gone. And you didn't follow up, you didn't stay top of mind, and they're gone. Make sense? Okay. All right. We didn't do too bad. 11:10. How was that today?
Thank you, Joe.
Yeah. Good value. Give me one takeaway from like 4 people. One takeaway.
Before, let's take action, with the lesson, and make sure that actually do post the videos.
Love it. Dude, that was like 3 takeaways. Really good. Give me one more. Yeah.
I really like the hook they told us about catching our attention in the first 3 seconds.
It's a game changer, right? Give me a couple more. Bob?
I think the whole thing just how made me realize how far behind I am, in a sense, you know.
Didn't mean to do that,
No,
but right.
That's what I need. I need to
Room for growth, man.
Yeah.
That's what we want.
Yeah. And I would also say, like, listen, the playbooks, which is what we're basing all this off of, like, there's a variety of ways. If your number one thing is going to be database, then that's cool. Own database. And I don't give a crap if you're on social media or not, right? But you got to just make the commitment of like, what are you doing to tell your story? If you don't have enough people in your database right now to support your business for this year, you have no choice but to find new people. Mathematically, you are committing to losing if you know the amount of people in your database and it's not enough to support your goals. You have to go add new people. And so online is where people are. It just is. So, right. Let's get one or 2 more takeaways.
I think that, what you said about the familiarity, is a huge thing for like social media. It can really help you reach that.
Yeah.
Because people like they know you on social media. So
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? If you are my friend on Facebook, you see, I basically post 2 or 3 things. I post my daughter and or horses, right? Those are the same. I post like education, learning, work, right? Like coaching and teaching, and soccer. Damn it. You already knew. Yeah, I'm a very boring person, right? Online, because I'm private, right? I'm not necessarily posting all my life. So I'm doing that, right? Do you know what happens? Like literally, like somebody was like, "You're such a great dad," and I'm like, I mean, you don't know if I was like F-bombing my 9-year-old yesterday, but they see me that I'm like doing stuff with her, I'm engaged with her, that she seems to be happy, and they think that, you know, she's probably good. Like she's probably a good dad, like, right? So like people get to know you based on the story that you tell. You guys probably are like, oh, cool. Like Joe is like plays soccer a lot. He either is like, you know, like somewhat in shape or somewhat good at soccer, right? You might think that I am both. And it's like, right. But like that, and it's like, oh, cool. Well, you get to know me a little bit. That's that familiarity. Okay. So great aha. One more. Last one. Who wants to go last?
Dude, the sizzle.
Sell the
I freaking learned that from you 3 years ago, and I use it in everything. I use it in the lacrosse program. The sizzle's where it's at.
The sizzle's always where it's at.
Massive.
Sell the sizzle, not whatever it is that you wanted to do. All right, guys. Thanks.
Thank you.
We'll figure out what we're doing next month, but it'll be something.